Today we're going to be talking about how to make Android apps beautiful. And we're going to start off by looking at an app that hasn't had much love. This is actually the first in a multi-part series of DevBytes. And today's episode is going to focus on modernizing, doing some very basic modernization techniques with your app. So let's switch to the phone and let's look at our app. Now, the first thing I want to actually point out is the app icon. The app icon is the identity of your app. It's the identity of your app not only on the user's device, but also on the Play Store. So making this piece of identity stand out and look polished is really important. This app does not qualify of having done a good job. So we've now launched the app, and you'll see it's a very basic and a common pattern that we normally see. It's a list view. We have some thumbnails on the left-hand side and some text on the right. And straight away we see that this app is actually an old style app. It uses a title bar at the top. It has a legacy menu button at the bottom, which shouldn't be there on a device with virtual navigation buttons. The images are all inconsistently sized from each list item to list item. And when we go to the details, we've got a bad title bar, but all the text is jutted up all the way to the edges. So let's look at what we do to fix this as a first step. What we're going to do before we switch to code, let's have a look at what the target's going to be. This is our first stage that we're going to get to, which is an action bar. We've got action items, we've got an overflow menu as well, and we're doing some notifications. So getting back to that, let's now look at what we started with. Let's look at some code. And what we have here is actually the manifest file. We've got a minimum SDK version set to 10, which is great. We're targeting users from Gingerbread and up. But our target SDK version is also set to API level 10. This should always be set to the most recent version of the Android SDK, which in this case is API 17. So the first change we'll make is to make that 17. This will automatically get rid of the menu button on devices that have virtual navigation buttons. The other thing we want to do is actually change the style. We're using the theme.light style. So what we're going to do instead is use our own style that is also backwards compatible. So our manifest file is actually going to change into something like this, where we've got API 17 here and we've got our own app theme. The way we're going to define this app theme is by having a styles.xml in our values directory, which just extends theme.light. This is our base theme. What we're then going to do is we're going to have a styles.xml for v11, API 11 to 13 will get theme hollow light, and API 14 and upwards will get the hollow light with a dark action bar. So once we've done this, we're going to get a nice styled action bar there. I'm going to get rid of the menu button. But what we might also want to do is brand our action bar to be more consistent with the stylings of our organization or service that we provide. Switching to the slides now, what we actually want to do is take our action bar the way it is now and make it orange basically, and change the icon as well, again to be consistent with our brand. The way we're actually going to do that is use this third-party tool called the Android Action Bar Style Generator, developed by Jeff Gilfelt from the Android developer community. Great utility where you can go and specify various attributes about how you want your action bar to be presented, and then what it does is provides you with a zip file that you can just extract over your project, and you're done. So that wraps up part one. I just want to show you how far we've gotten in this checkpoint. We've gotten from something that obviously looked old to something that looks a lot more modern now.